Hey, welcome everyone. I'm Ted Earhart. We're going to spend some time today talking about Social Security. And my intent is this is going to be the first of an ongoing discussion about this very important topic. Unfortunately, throughout my career, I've seen many what I would characterize as less than optimal Social Security claiming decisions. In other words, I've seen a lot of people leave significant amounts of money on the table simply because they didn't understand the basics around break-even analysis or the strategies around coordinating spousal benefits or survivor benefits, and or even strategies for folks that are divorced. So I thought I'd kick this off by discussing how Social Security benefits are calculated, because I think for the vast majority of the public, it's a complete mystery, and it just kind of seems like a great kind of foundation to lay for an ongoing discussion around this very important topic for the vast majority of retirees in the U.S. So with that introduction, let's get started. So to calculate one Social Security benefit, there's basically three steps. The first is calculating what's known as your average indexed monthly earnings. Now that's a bit of a mouthful. To translate, Social Security starts the whole benefit calculation process by establishing your 35 highest individual years of income. They do this by looking back over your entire earnings history, then adjusting all of those individual years for inflation, and then taking the highest 35 years to capture an average. Now, the wages that are used to get the average can be found on page 3 of your Social Security statement, which can be seen in our sample up here in the middle column. Again, all these wages are adjusted for inflation because obviously wages from the 1980s would be much larger in today's dollars. Now, if you don't have 35 years of covered wages, you're going to have some zeros as part of that average. And that's going to bring down the total, obviously. Now, I just point this out because I think it's especially notable for young people who might think they're getting ahead for working some job for cash. And that might ultimately come back to bite you when it's time to apply for Social Security. Now, once Social Security has established the average of your highest 35 years, the number is going to be converted into a monthly amount, which will be used in the benefit formula in our next step. And we're just going to say, for example purposes, let's say it's time for you to apply for benefits and we get your highest 35 years, and we're going to say it's $96,000 on average. Well, we're going to convert that into a monthly amount for a nice round $8,000 per month, and we'll reference back to that in our next step as we take a look at the benefit formula. So step 2 is calculating what Social Security calls the primary insurance amount. This is another name for one's full retirement age Social Security benefit. Now, to calculate the primary insurance amount, Social Security uses the average monthly earnings that we just talked about in step 1 and applies them to their benefit formula, which you can see up here in the table. The benefit formula basically represents 3 tiers for replacing income up to a maximum dollar amount. For 2021, the maximum dollar amount of monthly earnings subject to the benefit formula is $11,900. So even if you're Bill Gates or Elon Musk and you're applying for benefits this year, the maximum monthly earnings for anyone is $11,900. If you multiply this by 12, it comes out to $142,800. And this is the Social Security wage cap for 2021. So workers pay FICA taxes up to $142,800 in 2021. Now, let's go back to calculating the primary insurance amount. Here's basically how the formula works. Again, there's these 3 tiers, first, second, third. As you can see, Social Security will replace 90% of a worker's first $996 of average earnings. They're going to replace 32% of the next $5,006 of average wages. And finally, in Tier 3, if you have earnings in Tier 3, Social Security will replace 15% of this last $5,898. Again, if you add these three rows up, that comes up to this $11,900. And that breaks down, and basically what this means is the highest primary insurance amount for 2021 is $3,383. Even if you're Bill Gates or Elon Musk, this is the highest benefit calculation for anyone in the United States. Now, let's reference back to our example to hammer this home. So again, assume it's time for you to apply for Social Security benefits, and Social Security starts the process of calculating your highest 35 years of average earnings. Now, again, we'll just say that the average is $96,000, which translates into a nice round $8,000 per month. So this means when we apply this to the benefit formula, again, here's your $8,000. You've maxed out the first two tiers, and in the last tier, you have $1,998 worth of earnings. And again, the way the formula works, 90% of your first $996 gets replaced by Social Security, 32% of the next $5,006, and 15% of whatever's left in tier 3. So your primary insurance amount would calculate out to $2,798 in this example. This is what you would theoretically earn at your full retirement age. Also, just as a reminder, the maximum amount of monthly earnings subject to the benefit formula in 2021 is this $11,900. So I just want to emphasize that to kind of help you understand how this process works. So no matter how much money you make, again, even if you're Bill Gates or Elon Musk, $11,900 is the highest amount that's going to get run through the formula for a maximum primary insurance amount in 2021 of $3,383. So that's how the benefit formula works. Now that you have your primary insurance amount, you're close, but you're not quite done. There's a few final adjustments that need to be made, and we'll talk about that in step 3. Now, the age at which you draw Social Security benefits makes a significant difference. Most people are familiar with the concept of full retirement age. Well, if you were born in 1960 or later, your full retirement age is age 67. As we can see, benefits are 100%. In other words, you would be due your full primary insurance amount were you age 67. But if you draw early at age 62, you're only going to get 70% of your primary insurance amount. And in final contrast, if you defer out to age 70, you're going to get 124% of your primary insurance amount. So finally, the primary insurance amount is adjusted for inflation if you're electing to draw benefits after age 62. Now, one important technicality of the whole calculation process is the three-tiered formula that's used. It's based on the year in which you turn age 62. So let me go back a slide for reference. Again, if you're turning 62 this year, 2021, we look at this top table. These are the actual dollar amounts used in the three-tiered formula. But for someone who's turning 70 this year, say they had chose to defer to capture the maximum Social Security benefit, the tiers used in their benefit calculation are those that were in place 8 years ago when they were age 62. Therefore, their primary insurance amount, which again will be calculated based on the formula that was, or the tiers that were in place in 2013, will also receive 8 years worth of cost of living adjustments plus deferral credits depending on the year that they were born. So there you have it. There's the mechanics of how Social Security benefits are actually calculated. Do you got it? Well, again, just to recap, there's 3 basic steps. Number 1 is determining your highest 35 years of inflation-adjusted earnings. Then it's converting those into a monthly amount and running them through the benefit formula. Last but not least is adjusting based on the age at which you ultimately decide to draw benefits. So there's a fair amount of moving parts, and it's probably far beyond what the average person needs to know, but I think it's important for most folks to understand that, again, benefits are based on a 35-year average, and the year in which you decide to draw in terms of age makes a significant difference. So as always, I appreciate you watching. If you have any questions about Social Security, as I said, I've really made a significant effort to be an expert in this area. Feel free to drop me a comment and I'll do my best to respond. As always, thanks for watching and we'll see you next time.